In this video, I'm going to teach you 10 different accompaniment patterns that you can apply to different chord progressions. All of these patterns have different variations, so all in all, you'll learn over 30 different ways to play a chord progression. Also, these patterns can be very easily modified to fit in different time signatures. Whether you're playing in 4/4, 3/4, or 6/8, you can use these different patterns. Also, when you learn it in one key, when you learn it in the key of C, it's really easy to apply and plug in to any other key. And so let's jump in here. This is the lesson sheet. By the way, this lesson sheet is available to you for free. Go ahead and click the link down in the description so you can get this digital download and follow along with the lesson. And so I'm gonna demonstrate each pattern in the key of C. And so I'm going to use this very common chord progression, the 1-5-6-4 chord progression. Now, all the patterns are based off of this simple chord right here. So go back to the 1 chord. That's C, just like this. Now take the 1 chord, and between the two notes, the first two notes of the 1 chord, so in this case C and E, play the note in between it. So we should have a C, D, E, and G in the right hand. Now this chord that I'm playing in the right hand is called a C add 2. And the 1 chord with the added second degree will work over all the chords in the chord progression. And this chord will also introduce some beautiful color tones with the other chords. So all you're going to do is hold this chord in the right hand the whole time over these chords, and you get all those beautiful colors, and you sound sophisticated when you play because you're getting all these chord tones in there. Now on the 5 chord, notice what I've notated here in the lesson sheet, that you can change this voicing slightly on the 5 chord, and it sounds really pretty because we get some inner voice movement. So we're going to take that C, the bottom note of the chord, and we're just going to move it down a half step. And this sounds really nice over the 5 chord. So I'm playing this, then I get to that 5 chord and I drop this note. So the G chord is the 5 chord, and I'm going to drop the C down to the B. And also on the 5 chord, you can opt to leave out this note, this E, and just play this. And you'll notice that all that gives you is just a G chord in the right hand. But it's real easy to move between these two. And you can also put that E in there with the G chord. So we're going to use that on the 5 chord. Now, I want you to also understand that this chord right here can be inverted, which means you just change the order of the notes. So rather than play the C underneath here, I could play the C up here. So when we change the order of the notes, we get a different inversion. We can continue to do that, and because there's 4 notes in this chord, we get 4 inversions. So that's like root inversion, or root position. Then we go to the first inversion, D, E, G, C. We rearrange the notes again. We take this D and put it up top. We've got E, G, C, D. We rearrange the notes again. We put the E up here. We've got G, C, D, E. And then when we do it again, we're back to that root position. So with a 4-note chord, there's 4 different inversions, 4 different positions you can use. And so all of these patterns can be changed to different inversion positions. So I could play the chord here, or I could play it here. And you'll find switching inversions can really add a lot of beauty to these different patterns and keep them from sounding too monotonous. So one pattern can be played here, and then we can come up here and play it here. And so we'll get to that pattern here in just a minute. But to understand these different inversions. But for the chord that I showed you that you can use over the 5 chord, over the G chord, which is the 5 chord, these inversions, just keep in mind all we're doing is the same chords, we're just swapping the C out for the B. So we've got these inversions that we can use for the 5 chord, which is the G major chord. So you'll see them notated here. So let's get into the patterns here. The first couple patterns are super simple, but these are quite often all you need to accompany or to play a chord progression. And so the first pattern there, as you can see, you just play the chord on every beat. These are quarter notes, and in 4/4 time, it's one beat, one chord for 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I just hold the octave of the chord in the left hand. 2, 3. Go to the G chord. 6 chord, which is A minor. 4 chord, which is F. So you notice the chord progression is happening. The right hand is just playing the same thing, and the bass is moving to the different octaves of the chord. And when I get to that 5 chord, I can use this or this. But I usually like to use both. I use this one first over the 5 chords, C, D, E, G, and then halfway through the measure, I'll drop that C to the B, and it's a nice voice leading. So here I am on the C chord, here's the G chord, then I drop that C to the B. Really pretty. Let's try it in a different inversion. So you don't really need much more than that a lot of times. You can just play quarter notes on the beat, and it's really pretty. And then you saw I was using some of the notes of the chord just as little fillers in between the beats sometimes. If you're able to do that, that's certainly nice to do. If you're not there yet, you don't have to do it. Just leave them out, just on every beat. Now, you can take this pattern and add half notes to the pattern. The first one I've got notated there is the first note of the measure will be a half note where you hold it for 2 beats. Half note gets 2 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then quarter notes on the second half of the measure. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you can also change the position of where we're going to put that half note chord. So I can put it at the beginning, like I just did, or I can put it in the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or I could put it at the end like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sounds so pretty. Now also, if you're going to use the half notes, you can always take that opportunity when you're holding the chord in the right hand to play the octave again in the left hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That way our hands are kind of going back and forth and answering each other, and it sounds really nice that way. So when you're holding the right hand, play the left hand again. Now this can very easily be modified to 3/4 time, and all you do is you just skip the last beat of those measures. So it's instead of counting to 4, you just count to 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then when you add in your half notes, then you've just got 2 options there, either at the beginning or at the end. Now let's get into the next pattern. This one incorporates eighth notes. Eighth notes are played 2 notes per beat, so we count them 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Pattern number 2 here, which is the first one with eighth notes, is to play the chord, but leave the bottom note out, and then rock from the top 3 notes to the bottom note. And this works in any position. Whatever position you're in, play the top 3 notes together and then rock to the bottom note. This is actually my favorite position to do this one in. I play the C, D, and E, and then rock with the G. Now, the same thing applies with this in 3/4. You just leave off the last beat. Real simple. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. Now, I also have a variation of pattern 2 for 6/8. Now, 6/8 is compound rhythm. And so there's 6 beats per measure, and the 8th note gets 1 beat. That leaves us with 2 groups of 3, and we feel those as pulses in the rhythm. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 3 8th notes grouped together. So that's going to be the feeling of this pattern. So notice the first one. We take the top 3 notes and then rock with the bottom note, and then we do that again. So we end up hitting this twice together. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And all the other positions as well. Now, another way to do this is to play the top 3 notes and then the bottom note twice. I really like to do it that way in 6/8. Pattern number 3 goes back to 8th notes in 4/4 time. We're going to break up that chord a little different. We're going to play C and E together and D and G together. And so you'll notice we're going to play the first and third notes together and the second and fourth notes together. So whatever position we're in, that's how we would do it. And we just go back and forth and rock between those two. This one is a really pretty sound. And of course, to play this one in 3/4 time, you just leave the last beat off. It's real easy. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. I'll show you in a different position. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. Now this pattern can also be played in 6/8 time. We just use the same idea. Top part of the pattern once, bottom part of the pattern once, top part of the pattern, and we repeat that. So we get this back to back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pattern number 4 is 8th notes also, and all we do is we play the notes ascending in the pattern. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So it's C, D, E, G if we're in root position. We can do it in all positions as well. Now the beauty of this pattern is that you can change your starting note. So take a look at variation number 2. We use the D as the starting note. So this gives this pattern a whole different feel because it accents this note instead of this note, because this note is now falling on the down beats. So I'm going to play variation 1 first, where I start on the C, and then I'm going to switch to variation 2, and you'll see the difference. It sounds like a whole different pattern. This is variation 1, starting on the C. just change the starting note to D. Notice how it changes. Now you can continue to do this and use all the different notes as your starting point for 4 different feels to this pattern right here. So if I use the E as my starting note, completely different. If I start on the G and start the pattern on the G, notice how it sounds. And then you can do this in each different position, and every single position will also have a different sound, and you can change the starting notes there as well. Pattern number 5 is the same idea, same concept, but descending rather than ascending. So pattern 4 in its variations, we're going up. C, D, E, G, C, D, E, G. Now we're just going to do the same thing but come down. G, E, D, C, G, E, D, C. And then we can also change the starting point on these patterns to give it a different sound, and then also change the position. So there's all kinds of different opportunities to take this one pattern and make it sound in many different ways. So pattern number 6 looks like this. They're eighth notes again, and we've got this pattern: G, C, E, C, D, C, E, C. So notice on all in between all the beats, so 1 and 2 and 3, all those ands are the C note, and then we put these notes on the beats. 1 and 2, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and there's another variation of this pattern right here where you go C, G, C, D, C, E, C, D, C. So here's a variation for 3/4 time. What we're going to do is we're going to change this chord to a 3-note chord, and this will help us accommodate 3 beats per measure. So leave out, in this case, I like to leave the third out when I do this, and I go C, D, G, and I use this in my different positions. Now when there's 3 notes, there's only 3 positions, so keep that in mind. And so what I'll do is I'll take those 3 notes and just go up twice. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and... So here's another variation of that pattern for 3/4 time where we use all the notes. So we'll go G, C, D, C, E, C, and then restart the pattern. So this actually is easy to play in 6/8 time if we go back to that 3-note chord where we take the E out of this chord, and we just play for 6/8 time. We just play each note in succession, up or down, either way, because that gives us 2 groups of 3, which is perfect for 6/8 time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now pattern number 7, we get into some 16th notes, but these are the same patterns that we've already learned, but now we just got this, we kind of double up the timing. So before it was 1, 2, 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and we're just going to double those up and play twice as many notes in the measure but doing the same exact pattern. So you'll notice pattern number 7 is the same that we did in eighth notes, just with 16th notes. So this really, once you learn the eighth notes, this actually comes pretty easy by just speeding it up. We count 16th notes, 1, E, and A. And so the first 16th note is on the number, 1. The second 16th note is on the E, 1, E. Then this third 16th note is on the and the fourth 16th note is on the A. So we got 1 E and A. So it gives us 4 divisions of the beat. 1 E and A, 2 E and A. Now, when we get into 16th notes, these patterns pretty much become ostinato patterns, and this is just repeated notes that are played over chord changes, a repeated pattern. And so what sounds really nice is when we get into these 16th note patterns is to go up an octave and play them higher. So that's what I have notated here. And the same thing applies with these. We can change the starting note of the pattern and give this a whole different feel, as well as change the position. And we've got endless opportunities to play different patterns over these chords. Pattern number 8 and its variations here are just the same idea with the 16th notes that we've already done, the same patterns we did in eighth notes, but now we're changing them to 16th notes, doubling them up, playing twice as many per measure, but we're just doing the same thing, but we're ascending now. So this gives it a completely different sound. And again, we can change the starting note. We can also change the position. Then for pattern number 9, I have something that is actually kind of difficult, but if you can get this feeling, the feeling for this rhythm right here, it's really pretty to add this into your playing. And so the idea is anticipating the beat. So you'll notice we've got 16th notes that are tied together. We've got 4 16th notes, and then it's tied to the 5th. And then it continues, and then it's tied again to the first 16th note of every beat. So when we count this, so we play the G of this pattern, G on the 1, C on the E, D on the and 3 on the and then we hold this note when we say 2. And then we play the next note when we say E. After the 2, then we say E, then and then we hold this for 3, and then we come back in on the E after 3 with the C, E, and then we hold this through the 4, and then we come back in on this C when we say E, and then we come back and we play this G on the 1 beat. So the only number we're playing a note on is the first number, the 1. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Now this can be pretty challenging and it takes some practice, but I use this a lot when I'm accompanying. I like to get this pattern in. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. So once you get it slow and count it, it's going to take a lot of practice, but if you can get this one down, this can really add a lot of rhythmic interest to your patterns. So up to speed it sounds like this. And the last pattern here, pattern number 10, incorporates some triplets, and this is one of my favorite to use. This pattern here, this variation is for 4/4 time, but using eighth note triplets. So eighth note triplets means 3 notes in one beat. So we've got eighth notes is 2 notes in one beat, 1 and 2 and 3 and. We got 16th notes, which is 4 notes in one beat. So we've got 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. But eighth note triplets is 3 notes in one beat. 1 2 3 4 So this pattern here is made up of 2 segments of 3 notes. The first segment is G, then an octave down on G. So 1, that's the second note, and this is the third note. And these 3 make up the first segment of this pattern, these 3 notes. 1 triplet. And then the second pattern is D, G, C. So G, octave down G, C, D, G, C, G, G, C, D, G, C. And we just repeat that over and over again. Now another variation of this is to do the same thing we did with our eighth notes when we switched to 16th notes, but since we got eighth note triplets, now we're going to switch to 16th note triplets. And so the way 16th note triplet works is that there are 3 16th note triplets in every half beat. So in other words, that means there's 6 16th note triplets per beat. So this takes a little practice as well, and you want to get that feel. It's kind of like you kind of get the, instead of counting every single triplet, you kind of get this feel for the 6 notes per beat. You can even move it up higher, and it's just got this beautiful shimmering effect. Now this pattern here is actually pretty easy to switch over to 3, 4, and 6, 8 because since we've got 3 note segments, they actually fit. We just stop playing them as triplets and they fit perfectly in 3, 4, and 6, 8 time, and we just break them up by 3s. So in 3, 4 time, it's the same exact pattern, but we just play the pattern once per measure if they're eighth notes. So we go 1 and 2 and 3 and. Now there is a big difference in the way this feels though, because we now have groups of 2 rather than groups of 3, and that gives the accents, that puts the accents in different places, and it gives us a whole different feel. So when we're doing triplets in 4/4, it's at this 1, 2, 3, 4. But in 3/4, we've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So although it's the same notes, same order, you're going to notice that the feeling is much different, and it's going to take practice to be able to go from one to the other. 1 and 2 and 3 and 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 1. In 6/8 time, we're back to groups of 3 notes. So this is going to feel pretty much exactly the same as doing it with eighth note triplets in 4/4 time, with the exception that the measures are now cut in half. So before it was 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. Now it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But the feeling in 6/8 and 4/4 time with this pattern is very similar, with the exception that the measures go by twice as fast when we're in 6/8 time. So these different patterns, as you can see, are extremely versatile, and you can take them and apply them to pretty much any chord progression which uses the diatonic chords. Just with this one chord shape right here, and then you can use the different patterns even in different time signatures. So with these 10 different accompaniment patterns, there are literally countless ways that you can take and apply these to different chord progressions, and you'll never be at a loss for how to accompany or how to add in fillers or just use this to improvise or play some flowing music on a chord progression at the piano. I hope this lesson was a help to you. Don't forget you can get this lesson sheet. Just click the link down in the description and I'll get this to you. Also, I have a PDF bundle with this lesson sheet in all 12 keys, and so the link for that is down in the description as well, and if you'd like to purchase that. But the single PDF in the key of C is yours for free. Go ahead and grab that at the link in the description. And thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this lesson, click the like button right now. If you enjoy this content and you want more lessons just like this, make sure you subscribe right now, and I'll see you in the next video.